group chose to run program 11G, Which One Doesn't Belong, from Dr. Mark Dixon's Peak Relational Training System. Like other Peak programs, Which One Doesn't Belong focuses on contingency-based learning through discrete trial training. This means that tasks are broken down to efficiently teach and collect data. Correct responses are immediately followed up by feedback to increase the future frequency of the correct response. The goal of this particular program is for the learner to, when presented with two cards from the same category and a third card from a different category, correctly identify the card that doesn't belong with the others. We chose this particular program because we thought it could be successfully adapted to suit a wide range of ages and skill levels. This was especially important for our group because we had limited access to participants and had to select a program that could be used to teach two learners at vastly different stages of development. The purpose of running Which One Does Not Belong was to use discrete trial training to teach fine-tuned categorization skills to two participants with very different skill sets. This is important because categorization skills are called upon for many situations encountered throughout everyday life. Categorization allows us to problem solve, organize, process new information, and ultimately make sense of the world. This skill usually emerges in infancy or early childhood, and if not, it can present a developmental challenge that may be linked to impaired development of other related skills like memory and language. Discrete trial training may be appropriate for use in training categorization skills for two children of different ages because it continues to build upon existing skill sets and teaches children to make new discriminations, which suggests that progress or further progress can be made at any skill level. There is evidence that discrete trial training of this nature effectively improves academic outcomes, particularly for children with autism.
Participant 1 is an 11-year-old female of average intelligence and ability. The Peak program 11G, Which One Doesn't Belong, was ran in the participant's home. There were 100 flashcards, and the correct answer was placed randomly on each card. The cards were shuffled before each session, and the participant was instructed to touch the correct answer with his finger. At each session, participant 1 was presented with a card, and the trainer waited 3 seconds. If the correct response was given, the participant was given verbal praise, and then a penny was placed into a bowl for the participant to later exchange in time for use with her iPod. An incorrect response was followed with representing of the stimulus and a second 3-second pause. If there was still no answer or incorrect answer, a prompt was given, and the cycle continued. IOA was measured by the trainer observer every 10th trial by total count method. Accuracy was 100% for this procedure. Participant 2 is a 3-year-old male with no diagnosis at this time. This Peak program was also conducted in the home of the participant. Baseline data was obtained by 4 blocks of 10 trials to determine the competency level of the Peak program. 4 picture cards with illustrations were shown to the child for each trial, followed by a prompt to choose which one did not belong. Each trial, 3 cards were chosen from a deck of animal-themed cards and 1 card from a non-themed animal deck. Reinforcement for this intervention was 3 M&Ms added to a jar and set aside for each trial completed correctly. The trials were scored using a tally method per trial. If the child answered correctly, the trial was marked, whereas if the child did not answer correctly, the trial was left unmarked. After the last block, the child was given the jar of the accumulated teams. The percentage of the correct marks for each block was calculated by adding the number of correct trials and dividing the total number of trials in the block. IOA was obtained for 10% of the trials observed, and it was calculated at 100% by the total count method. The discussion and results. Our graph on the following slide shows the correct percent of answers for each participant for each trial block ran. For participant 1, after baseline was reached, there was a 44% increase in the following trials. participant 2, they had a 65% increase after baseline measurement. Implications and limitations. Inter-observer agreement was limited due to the distance between each researcher during this project. Also, the age of the participants were different, as in participant 1 was 11 years old and participant 2 was 3. Another limitation was the difference in the categories chosen to run